Today we're here with Mike. He is an auto wrap enthusiast. Mike, tell me a little bit about your business. What do you do?
Basically wrapping cars. Your boring factory paint ain't good enough. You need something nice and flashy, some chrome, some two-tone, some color shift, get some sparkle. You got a shimmer.
I agree. Wrap, the way to go. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, what made you start the auto wrap business? Life story.
Wow, life story. We ain't got that much time, do we?
Just start from the auto wrap business.
Basically, it's a way to get back into the car community. I took a number of years off due to life kind of getting in the way, but wanted to get back to doing car stuff. Wrapping cars is a way. It's now popular. I think it's actually more popular than paint at this point.
I do. I see a lot of cars at the car communities. They're all wrapped.
And if you're like me, I can't stick with one setup,
Right.
one color, whatever. I'm going to get tired of it in like 6 months.
No, I have commitment issues. If I don't like it, it's got to go.
Well, this will get played out at some point, and then I'll change color.
Right.
Go to some different setup. Every couple months, do something different, keep it fresh. And it's way easier to wrap than it is to paint.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I agree. What is your favorite wrap? Like, do you like to do decal wrap? Do you just like color, like texture?
Depends on the car. And it really depends on the driver as well, I guess.
Right.
Everybody has a different personality, a different vision for their car. Some people like the intense graphics, like the stuff we've seen in Fast and the Furious.
Right.
With the crazy graphics going on the side and the knight holding the sword, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got people that super simple, want to keep it clean.
Right.
One color. I really like the textured stuff. I think it looks cool. Like carbon fiber wrap is pretty awesome. The technology on that to make it actually look like carbon fiber has really progressed since they started doing vinyl wrap a number of years ago.
We have some on our car, the Legacy wagon that we have. On our hood, it's just carbon wrap. I think it looks so cool.
I like the forged carbon look. I've got that on the WRX, and everybody touches it thinking it's going to have like this crazy texture, but it's really smooth.
I didn't touch your car when I first saw it, but I definitely got real close. I was like, is that real or is that the wrap? And then I got closer to the hood at the top and was like, oh, it's really good. It's done really well. It looks really nice. If you ever see him at a meet, definitely go look at his car. It's beautiful.
I get a lot of questions because they're like, hey, is this real forged carbon?
Right.
And no, going back to like commitment issues, I might want to go honeycomb at some point. And I can't pay $3,000 per hood every time I want to change something.
No. Yeah, that's insane. Some people do that. Not me. Don't know how they do it. Definitely props to you. If you have like a good enough job and you're making bank, like you can do that. But me, I'm just a little barista.
I ain't got forged carbon money. I got forged carbon sticker money.
Yep. I don't even know if I have that. What would you suggest to a beginner with wrapping? Like, what companies would you suggest, or what was the process?
So if you're just starting out, I would probably, a couple different companies make vinyl.
Right.
4 vehicles, 3M.
Right.
TinyBot is one of the newer ones on the market. Avery makes some really good stuff. The options are out there, but the biggest thing you can do is just practice. It takes patience, a lot of patience. And did I mention patience?
You did.
Okay.
But I agree. I've seen people do it. I want to learn how to do it. It's actually what I want to go to school for. I thought about TinyBot a lot, but I just haven't been able to get to that. So, when you started your business, how hard was it to get started up with your LLC?
Not very difficult. I use an online service. They're plenty to look at. They guided you through the entire process, filing your paperwork, making notifications, and make sure you got your stuff on time or whatever. And once I had that set up, then I was able to get I used prior contacts to get set up with company
Okay.
for vinyl and supplies and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I was also able to set up with TinyBot and another company called Metro Restyling.
I don't think I've heard of them.
No, Metro Restyling doesn't have their own brand.
Gotcha.
They sell other brands.
Okay.
TinyBot just sells TinyBot out of California.
TinyBot's really nice.
And they've got some really, really cool colors.
They do.
The WRX is actually wrapped in TinyBot Arabian Nights.
I love that color. I was thinking about doing that on my car, but then I was like, it doesn't match the thing that I wanted to do. So,
the Arabian Nights color was one of their newer ones.
Yeah.
Which is why I went with it. I like the color shift from the dark purple to like the coppery orange color,
right.
depending on how you see it in the sun. It's a really cool transition. So
now, what is your hood TinyBot, or is that a different one as well?
That's also TinyBot.
Okay.
So the hood, the roof, and the rear wing are their satin forged carbon vinyl.
Right. Okay. Now when I walked up, I was looking at your wheels. Tell me about your wheels.
The wheels are Inky RPF 1s. Those are super lightweight. They're not as wide as I want, but my goal is to autocross the car.
Okay.
And those were a better option than the stock wheels, so I literally traded a guy on one of the Subaru forums.
Right. That's
straight stock wheels for the Inkies.
Wow.
I drove down to Columbia. We swapped them right there in the shop.
What?
And I drove back home.
Is there anything else done to your car other than like cosmetic wise?
It's sitting on BC Racing coilovers. Okay. I've got the Cobb tuner access port and intake. Mm-hmm. Just basic things on it so far. Okay. Because again, I'm not going for horsepower necessarily. Mm-hmm. We're looking for more handling, but the Cobb access port did, without any modifications to the car,
right,
just flashing the ECU bumped me 15% over horsepower and torque.
Wow.
Which means Subaru left a lot of juice on the table.
Yeah.
When they put that car out. So
right.
Noticeable response difference with just the flash.
That's interesting. Now, you said you wanted to build your car for autocross.
Right.
What are the specifics that you would need for that, just for anybody who wants to get into autocross?
If anybody wants to autocross, just make sure your basic maintenance is up to date. Mm-hmm. Make sure nothing's falling apart, your bolts are nice and tight, everything's torqued to spec. Make sure you got good brakes.
Yeah, you don't want your engine blowing up or your wheel falling off, because your wheel falls off. You know how expensive that is?
It's expensive, and then your time is going to suffer if you only have 3 wheels.
Yeah, you'll cry. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, you can autocross a stock car. Autocross, I'm drawn to autocross because you're not racing everybody else. You're racing yourself. You're racing the clock. Because there's always going to be somebody faster. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be somebody with deep pockets that can afford all the crazy stuff for their car. So their car's better built, better set up, whatever.
Yeah.
But autocross, that's not what I'm not racing against all the Miatas that are track prepped.
Oh yeah, those are scary.
Right, I'm racing against myself.
Now, what is your fastest time?
So the autocross I did 2 weeks ago. I think it's been 2 weeks. I started out. My first run was 59 seconds. Okay. By the 4th run, I dropped it down to 53 seconds.
Okay, and is that like in a circle or?
It's the way autocross is set up, it's parking lot. Typically, they set up cones, you have gates you have to go through. Right. So like checkpoint racing. Yeah,
I've never done autocross. I've never really been to autocross, so this is new to me.
I gotcha. Yeah, they have a couple of people that run the sports car club in Clemson at the university. Right. I've heard that. They go out and set up the cones. Mm-hmm. And like the courses, they change on a whim, however they want to set them up. But there's usually you see the slalom through the cones, big sweepers, technical turns through. But you have to hit each of the checkpoints to get a time. Okay. For reference, the fastest time out there was actually set by Miata.
Of course.
Who knew?
Of course.
At like 45 seconds.
Oh, wow. So you weren't that far behind.
I wasn't terribly far behind.
Yeah.
Out of the 64 people that were out there, I was number 46 or something.
That's not bad.
Not terrible. That's
Yeah.
the first time autocrossing the WRX.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get better.
I'd say that's a win.
So
I'd say that's a win.
Because I improved my time over the course of the day, and that's really all I was going for.
That's amazing. Now, if you ever want to do autocross, just do it in your stock car. See how you can handle your car, and then build it.
Exactly.
You got to know how to handle your car before you can race your car.
There was a Chevy truck that ran.
That's amazing.
Rear wheel hop, burn out by accident.
Oh, wow.
But he had a stock Chevy truck out there.
But I bet he was just having
Running.
fun.
That's it. You have fun.
Yeah. Never stress. Just have fun. Now, if you set personal goals, that's you. You still don't have to stress. You still have fun.
Yep.
Don't ever get disappointed in yourself or anything like that.
And that's what all this car stuff really should be. It's about having fun. Meeting new people, going out, just chilling, whatever. But the goal is to have fun and build the car the way you want it. Mm-hmm. If you like something, do it. If you want to bedazzle your whole car, do it.
Well, maybe don't do that. That's I feel like that's a little bit of a hazard. Like, don't bedazzle the inside of your car. Your airbags go off. You're losing an eye.
Truth.
Don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
But yeah, just have fun.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So,
your first wrap for your business? Let's talk about that one.
The first official wrap that I did that was actually a paid customer. Mm-hmm. They put a very expensive car near me in vinyl and an X-Acto knife. And it was a 2017 Dodge Viper.
Yeah.
They bought it. It had white stripes on it. Mm-hmm. The front bumper actually didn't have the stripes on it because it had been redone, and nobody put the stripes on it from the dealer, whoever had it. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "Hey, we want pink stripes on this Viper," and I was like, "I got you." I was like, "Bring it." It took me about 3 days to get the lines nice and straight.
Right.
But I think it turned out quite well.
I do think it looks good.
Okay, good.
It looks really good driving down the road, I will say. I saw it driving down the road the other day. It's nice. It's nice. Now, did you find it nerve-wracking because it was an expensive vehicle?
Yes. Because, the inherent, I hate to say the word danger, but anytime you're working on a car, things happen.
Yeah.
Your hand slips. If you're removing like a body panel or a bumper to do a wrap or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a likelihood, especially on older cars, plastic gets brittle.
Yeah.
Something might snap.
That is scary.
But you take that on when you're doing, any kind of car modification, whether it's yours or somebody else's. But yeah, I took my time with it. Made sure it was protected. I didn't, I made sure I didn't have a belt on or anything that could scratch the paint. Mm-hmm. It was real gentle with it.
Could you imagine if someone was just auto wrapping like your car just like completely butt naked so they didn't scratch anything?
Make sure you wash it when you get it back.
Yeah, well, at least your car's not gonna have scratches.
Right, it won't have scratches. So, I did commercial wraps for 10 years with a sign company, and I've probably, if I had to guess, I've probably got more than 200 wraps under my belt in that time frame.
That's a lot of wraps. That's crazy.
It's a lot of wraps. You probably see some stuff rolling around that I've done. Greenville area, Anderson area. I mean, there's plenty of stuff still moving about on the roads that I put wrap on. So
that just means they last a really long time. So if you're ever looking for a good wrap, this is your guy. It's your guy. Now, tell me how you got to Selfvation.
Started getting back going to meets, and it was one of the meets was in Clemson,
right?
At the tattoo shop.
That's right.
And I met Angel for the first time, and I'm not sure how because I'm in the Facebook groups for the car communities and stuff, and that was when like the meets were just starting to happen that Angel was trying to organize. And I met him, and with him being prior service Marine Corps,
Right.
I am as well. There's an unspoken like bond there between service members.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Then it was we just sort of like, I don't know, I felt he's a brother. That's, to put simply, the Marine Corps were all brothers.
Yeah.
So, chatting with him and realizing kind of what his vision was for Selfvation is, we want to distance ourselves from like the hooligan culture that sometimes surrounds the car communities. Show that we can give back. Show that we're actually decent people. We're not a bunch of crazy tire burning intersection takeover people.
Yeah, Selfvation is they're very, I wouldn't say they hate those people or anything, but they are very against that, just because I do think it scares people away.
And it's unsafe.
It is.
You want to do something crazy in your car, book a track day, go to an autocross.
Right.
Really, there's safe ways to do crazy stuff in your car.
Well, we also have meets like Street Technique. They
Right.
have that burnout pit.
Yep.
Like, you want to do a burnout? That's actually April 5th. You guys come out. But, they you can always find respectful places that have those accessibilities for your car
Right.
that you would like to do.
Controlled, safe environment. You don't want to break your car. You don't want to break somebody's property. You don't want to hit anybody.
Right.
The other part of the Selfvation that I really like is the fact that he's promoting mental awareness. Everybody's got something going on.
Right.
And if we can be there for somebody else, the car stuff is just no pun intended, the vehicle to bring all of this together.
I agree.
But that's, we as a community can support each other, be there, because everybody's got different experiences. I've been through a lot. If I could help one person get through whatever they're going through,
Right.
then it's worth everything that we're doing.
Right, and that honestly is why I joined Selfvation. Like, I was new to the area. I was pretty new to cars, so I was looking for a little community, and I had joined a few, and Selfvation is the one that stand out the most to me because of how our community is just amazing. Like, they're able to, like, you have a flat tire, someone's gonna come help you, no matter what. Like, it's pretty great. It's great out here, and the meets that we held a while back are pretty nice, and we also have pop-up meets, so it's like there's always something going on. I feel like nobody's ever going to be bored or anything.
Agreed. And also, like, I feel like we're very non-judgmental. Every build is different. Everybody's in a different stage of life.
Right.
I'm 46. It took me a long time to get where I can just get parts for my car to make it cool.
Yeah.
Most of us started out struggling.
Yeah.
You want cool stuff for your car, but you also got to eat and pay rent.
Yeah.
And then back when I got into cars, nobody was making stuff for imports. This is way before Fast and Furious thought about existing.
And how long ago was that?
The early to mid 90s was when I started getting into cars.
I feel like that's about the time where it was being normalized for people to have, like, I wouldn't say a fashionable car on the road, because I feel like a lot of people noticed Japan's culture and they moved it over to America, and they were like, I like that. Let's do that.
And even that took a while.
Yeah.
I was actually stationed in Hawaii between 99 and 2002.
Wow.
And had some friends that had been stationed in Japan, had come back and brought option videos with them. Option videos back then were just, they were super fresh.
Right.
And it brought the Japanese drift culture and all the crazy stuff they were doing over there, over here. And that was in like 2000, 2001.
Is that how you got into cars?
No, it was actually a lot earlier than that. Being in the South, I grew up watching NASCAR. My favorite tracks were the road courses like Watkins Glen. But I also grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay, yep.
If you're too young to remember that, look it up. It was a great backwoods country, whatever. But they took the Charger and slid it around corners.
It's so great.
It's so good. The car stuff, the plot and the acting, not great.
Well, it was,
Right. It was late 80s, right?
Yeah.
Maybe early, mid 80s. I don't even.
Around
It's
that
been a
time.
while. But watching those guys like slide the car, jumps, work on stuff, I don't know, it was super cool.
All right, yeah, it is really cool.
And that's kind of where the car bug kind of bit me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of car community people or car enthusiasts now are more so getting into the car community because of Donut Media. Like they'll see a Donut Media video and they'll be like, wow, that's really cool. Or they'll just see like a really cool car drive by, or they'll just have like a family member. It's really interesting to know that you actually liked cars through Dukes of Hazzard, because it's very similar to how people are like, oh, I got into cars because of Fast and Furious.
Right. We were already neck deep in the car culture by the time Fast and Furious came out.
Right.
Back when Import Tuner magazine was a thing, Super Street was a thing, Nopi Nationals, which is coming back. Trucks, cars, lowriders, bikes, golf carts, go-karts, like whatever.
The little, like, now we got these little Thai cars that
bring
people are modding out for their kids.
I think that's amazing.
I love it. I love seeing those.
But that's, we were, before companies were looking at the import
Right.
culture, looking at that side of the cars. Muscle cars have been a thing forever.
Yes, they have.
Jegs, they've been making parts, Summit Racing, all those guys. And it wasn't until Nopi started putting out their parts catalog for, you could buy an intake for your Civic,
Right.
your CRX, whatever it was. And then they had this 3-day extravaganza in, Atlanta at the raceway, and there would be 20,000 people there that weekend. Concerts, they would have every vendor you can think of, free car part giveaways. It was just an amazing weekend. I remember Super Street Magazine, their headquarters was in New York at the time. And they would start, they would start driving down the interstate a couple of days before Nopi started.
Right, like our cruisins?
Right, at cruise. So they would cruise down, and then people would join in the cruise coming off the interstate. So by the time they got here, it would be miles long worth of modified everything.
I bet that was amazing to see.
Fantastic time. We would have walkie-talkies driving down.
I have walkie-talkies. I have walkie-talkies with my boyfriend because we cannot hear each other over our cars, so we have to use walkie-talkies.
That's hilarious.
What is the dream car you would love to see go through your business for a wrap?
That's an easy answer. It's definitely a third-gen Mazda RX-7. For the car people, it's called an FD. That's a chassis code. That's how most of us talk anyway.
If you ever seen Initial D, you know what he's talking about.
Yes, the yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow one.
I've always been in love with that car ever since it came out. I would love to have a right-hand drive one. That car styling was ahead of its time.
I agree.
And I think it's still, body lines, performance, it's still just as good as anything out on the market currently.
Yeah, and as far as like what wrap would you want to do on it? Like, do you want like a specific color or texture? Like, what do you think? What do you, Mike, the auto wrap enthusiast, think would look good on an RX-7?
If it were mine, it would be super simple. It would probably be a pearlescent white that transitioned to like a blue in the sunlight.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's a hint of blue in the wrap, and then the wheels would be blue as well. That color combination, a white car with blue wheels.
I love that.
That's every time I play Need for Speed or Forza or any of those where you get to play dress up with your cars.
Yeah.
It's always white with blue wheels.
I think I actually made my RX-7 purple with chrome stars on Need for Speed because I made it my drift car on there.
We could do that in real life.
Yeah.
Whenever you get to that point, we'll hook that up.
If I ever get one.
When you get to that.
Yeah.
We'll hook that up.
It'll just look my Mustang. It'd just be the cooler version of my Mustang.
We got you covered. Literally, with wrap.
Well, I guess that's all I have for you today, Mike. It was a pleasure speaking with you. You know, I loved learning more about you and your wrap business, and you know, I didn't even know that you was the Marines. I didn't even know that. That's really cool. You know, you meet a lot of people. You don't know much about them until you do an interview with them on the whim. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to interview and get to know me. I look forward to meeting more of you.
Yes.
And if you need something wrapped, let me know.
Do it.
I will.
Do it. His wrap, perfect. Also, if you see him, you know, Selfvation members, don't be afraid to say hi. I mean, I know he looks scary, but he's really nice. Like, he'll remember you. You follow him, he'll remember you. The second time I met him, he remembered who I was. I was honestly surprised. But he's nice. You know, just say hi. Don't be afraid.
No, just come
get a
say
business
hey.
card from him. Snag one. Sometimes they're on his car when he's at meets.
just ask me about my car or tell me about your car. I'm ready to listen because I enjoy it. So.
Well, I'll see you guys for the next interview. You guys have a great day.